Assalamu alaikum. This is Rokia Samia welcoming you to the English news from Bangladesh Television Chattogram Center. Let's begin with the headlines. Country sees growth of 13.28% in RMG export in 6 months since anti-discrimination movement and political changeover, reports Export Promotion Bureau. Toll collection on Chattogram's first elevated expressway begins as it's renamed in honor of Wasim Akram, martyr of July mass uprising in Chattogram. Bangladesh receives 263 crore and 90 lakh dollars remittance in last December, highest in country's history. Dense fog to remain across country from midnight till morning, might hampering air, riverine and road transport over the week. "71 civilians killed as Israel carries out 34 airstrikes in last 24 hours in Gaza. And Chittagong Kings grabbed their first win, thrashing Darbar Rajshahi by 105 runs in Bangladesh Premier League in Mirpur. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Bangladesh exported $19 billion of ready-made garments in 6 months since the anti-discrimination movement and political changeover. According to Bangladesh Export Promotion Bureau, the country saw a growth of 13.28% during that time. Bangladesh exported 1,988 crore and 77 lakh dollars of ready-made garments in 6 months between July and December in 2024-25 fiscal year. The volume was 1,755 crore, 69 lakh and $20,000 during the same period of the previous fiscal year. Insiders say the US-China trade war and Bangladesh's democratic transition are the causes behind it. The US buyers think that the trade war between the USA and China will intensify after Donald Trump enters the White House as president on January 20. Following the reality, many US buyers shifting their purchase orders to Bangladesh from China. As a result, Bangladesh exporters are busy to handle the additional purchase orders. Experts say Bangladesh will get benefits from the buyers leaving China, as no other countries have the capacity to grab such a huge purchase order. Toll collection on Chattogram's first elevated expressway began today. The expressway has been renamed in honor of Wasim Akram, a martyr of the July mass uprising in Chattogram. Industries advisor Adilur Rahman Khan inaugurated the toll collection system today. He said the interim government is naming various establishments across the country to present the memory of the martyrs of July and August to the future generations. The 17-kilometer expressway from Lalkhan Bazar to Potenga was constructed to improve connectivity and boost the regional economy. Transport drivers said that now they will be freed from suffering as the traffic has started on the expressway. The speed limit on Martyr Wasim Akram Expressway has been fixed at 60 km per hour. However, many drivers demanded to increase it up to 80 kilometers. Bangladesh received 263 crore and 90 lakh dollars remittance in last December, the highest in the country's history. Earlier in July of 2020, the country received a record 259 crore and 82 lakh dollars. According to the latest data of Bangladesh Bank, this year Bangladesh received approximately $28 billion of remittance, which is 22% more than the previous year. In 2023, the country received $21.92 billion of remittance. Bangladesh Meteorological Department forecast that the current weather conditions are likely to persist over the week. Meteorologist Khandakar Hafizur Rahman revealed the information at a press conference today at the Met Office in the capital Agargaon. During this time, dense fog will remain across the country since midnight till the morning, which may hamper air, riverine and road transport. He also said a light cold wave is sweeping over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Pabna, Bogura, Naunga and Kushtia districts. Meanwhile, the country's lowest temperature in the past 24 hours was recorded at 8.5 degrees Celsius at Tetulia, while the temperature in Dhaka was recorded at 13 degrees Celsius. A month-long colorful flower festival will begin tomorrow at the green and water-filled Fosaha DC Park in the port city. The festival, to be held for the third time, will be a wonderful gathering of joy, culture and tradition. Chattogram Deputy Commissioner Farida Khanum said, Chattogram District Administration is going to organize the country's largest flower festival this year. The DC Park has been decorated with various flowers in different aesthetics across an area of 196 acres of land. At least 136 species of domestic and foreign flowers, including dahlia, chrysanthemum, rose and marigold, will be on display in the flower festival. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Sheikh Abdul Rashid is expected to attend the inaugural ceremony of Chattogram Flower Festival 2025 as chief guest at 11 a.m., while Senior Secretary of the Ministry of Public Administration, Dr. Muhammad Mukhlisur Rahman, and Divisional Commissioner of Chattogram, Dr. Muhammad Ziauddin, will attend the program as special guests. Now, international news. Gaza's government media office said Israel carried out horrific crimes over the previous 24 hours with 34 airstrikes that killed 71 civilians across the Palestinian enclave. At least 5 people have been killed in an Israeli attack overnight on a residential home in the Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza. Palestinian human rights group Al-Haq said Israel's forced evacuation orders in Gaza are designed to facilitate attacks on the enclave's population, including in so-called humanitarian safe zones. The United Nations has denounced the targeting of Gaza's hospitals, saying that medical facilities need to be off-limits to military attacks and incursions. Meanwhile, humanitarian teams from the United Nations and the World Health Organization finally arrived in northern Gaza after months of being denied entry by the Israeli military. They said they observed hospitals in ruins and thousands of people without water, food, and sanitation. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 45,581 Palestinians and wounded 108,438 since October 7, 2023. South Korean investigators have called off an attempt to arrest suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol after a dramatic 6-hour standoff with the security team outside his home. Corruption Investigation Office CIO said, which has been investigating Yoon's short-lived martial law declaration, they have determined that the arrest is practically impossible. Next steps will be decided after review, the CIO said, adding that Yoon's refusal of the legal process is deeply regrettable. Yoon supporters who have been camped out in front of the presidential residence for days cheered in song and dance as the suspension was announced. "We won," they chanted. The CIO said that concern for the safety of the team on the ground was another factor in their decision to call off the attempted arrest. Investigators have until 6 January to arrest Woon before the current warrant expires. They can, however, apply for a new warrant and try to detain him again. Before the tent was stood down, Yoon's security team told the news agency they had been in negotiation with investigators who sought to access the president. Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico has threatened to cut financial support for more than 130,000 Ukrainian refugees as a dispute with Ukraine over Russian gas supplies escalates. On 1 January, Kiev shut off a pipeline that for decades was used to supply Central Europe with Russian natural gas. Slovakia had been the main entry point, and the country now stands to lose millions of euros in transit fees. The UN's refugee agency UNHCR estimated last month that there were 130,530 Ukrainian refugees in Slovakia out of 68,13,900 globally. Fico, who in December made a surprise visit to Moscow for talks with Russia's President Vladimir Putin, described Kiev's move as sabotage. The Prime Minister of the EU state said he would propose halting electricity exports to Ukraine and also sharply reducing financial support for Ukrainians who have found shelter in Slovakia. He said there was no risk of Slovakia itself suffering from gas shortages, as it had already made alternative arrangements. But Fico added that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's decision to turn off the taps would deprive Slovakia of 500 million euros in transit fees from other countries. Now, sports news. Cricket. Usman Khan struck a brilliant 123 of 62 balls to power Chittagong Kings to their first win in the Bangladesh Premier League T20 with a 105-run victory against Darbar Rajshahi at the Sher-e Bangla National Cricket Stadium in Mirpur. The Pakistani batters shared a massive 120-run stand with Graham Clark for 40 runs to lay a solid foundation before Mohammad Mithun 28 runs and Haider Ali 19 not out made meaningful contributions to propel Chittagong to 219 for 5 in their stipulated overs. Rajshahi, in reply, lost wickets at regular intervals, and despite Mohammad Harris's 32-run innings, none of the other batters could make any decent contribution with the bat before they were bowled out for 114 runs in 17.1 overs. Alis Al-Islam and Arafat Sani picked up 3 wickets each, while Shariful Islam and Muhammad Wasim Jr. took 2 wickets each. More from cricket. India were dismissed for 185 runs in their first innings on day 1 of the 5th and final test against Australia in Sydney. Scott Boland and Mitchell Starc sliced through Indian batting line-up, put Australia in a commanding position. After opting to bat, they crumbled under a relentless pace onslaught, with Rishabh Pant scoring on 40. Boland with the chief destroyer with 4 wickets for 31 runs, while Starc took 3 wickets for 49 runs. In reply, Australia lost Usman Khaza for 2 on the last ball before stumps, leaving them at